So at this point, I'm going to flip over to question and answer time. And I'm going to go through the list and see what questions we have. Throw them out into Q&A, throw them out into chat, and I'll answer them as they pop in. Also, if you'd like to ask a complex question and you think it's best to unmute your line, just let me know, and I can do that too. But the first question I see here, how is this different from TimberScan? You know, it's the elephant in the room. I'll let you guys know. TimberScan is a third-party product. They are not affiliated with Sage, and the way, you know, they're connected, that's how they're going to be. Sage Paperless Construction is, you know, the Sage's document management system. We're building it out. It's got integration directly with everything else in your Sage accounting systems. All right, the next question I have on the list, and I did answer this earlier as I went through the presentation, but I'll reiterate it. Do all my users have to have an account in Sage 100 or 300, or can they just use Paperless by itself? And that answer is, yeah, they do not have to have a direct connection. They do not have to have a username set up for them in Sage 100 or 300. They can just have a Paperless login and have access in the Sage Paperless Construction software. It does link back, so they will need to be on the same domain in order to connect and talk to all the data within Sage 100 or 300, though. But they don't have to have any actual logins for that. So someone asked, where is this located? Is it in the cloud or on the server? The way the software is designed is on-premise, which means that you're going to install it on your server. You control the data. You can actually have it running off multiple servers if you wanted to. I mentioned very briefly earlier you can put in archive data. So I actually have some users that will have their normal, you know, server with a solid-state hard drive. You know, I'm getting a little technical here, but throwing it, you know, it's got a very fast hard drive that stores all their data for the first 6 months. And it accesses really quick after 6 months. We don't care as much about the documents showing up, you know, lightning fast. So we have a secondary server that's our archive that's got a huge 5 terabyte hard drive that'll just last forever with our documents. We move them there. So you can allow your documents to be automatically moved over. To speak to the other half of that question about cloud, we are actually coming in very shortly going to start adding some cloud components to the software. Please be on the lookout. Those will be coming here in the next several months. I'm just reading through the questions here. The next question is, can you export from Sage 100, 300 to Sage Paperless? Actually, yes. Depends on what you mean by that, to be 100% truthful. But I will go ahead and say we install what we call the Sage Paperless printer. And this means no matter what software you're in, 100, 300, Microsoft Word, Excel, whatever it is, you can actually just print directly from whatever product that is into Paperless. It'll take that exact print job, put it into Paperless, and then you can code it and tie it back. So actually a very common workflow I hear people do is I create my purchase order in Sage Accounting. I print it to the Paperless printer. It comes in. I code it back over to the same PO, and now I have them linked together. So absolutely can do that. So one person's asking me to clarify. So when you're using Sage Paperless, would that not actually have the invoice in the accounting system, either 100 or 300, until until it's been fully approved? And that answer is yes, because Paperless wants to make sure anything in your accounting system is 100% legitimate. They do not show up on the accounting side until it's fully approved on the Paperless side. So someone asked, speaking of drawings, can we mark up and share drawings with our field people via tablets? I guess depends on how you want to look at that. We do have the ability to mark up drawings in Paperless, stamps. It's simple markups. So just to be clarify on that, circles, squares, lines, words, stick-it notes, stamps, things like that, redactions. And you can absolutely email right out of Sage Paperless to those people in the field where they can open it up on their tablets. Okay, next question here. So someone asked, what do companies do when they start using Sage Paperless with the original documents scanned into the system? The actual paper documents, what do they do with them? It's a very good question, and to be honest, it's very different depending upon the person I talk to. Most companies continue to file in tandem for at least 6 months, 3 to 6 months, since there's really Paperless can store all of those digitally, and until you're 100% confident, I don't recommend throwing away your documents. Not to say that I'm not 100% confident in our software. It's just that there's things that you need to make sure of, such as, are my backups working? So being able to actually back up the system and then test to make sure your backup's working. I never want you to lose your documents, so make sure 100% everything's in line before you start throwing away or shredding those documents. Someone asks, are all documents PDF? And that answer, mine are yes, pretty much in my sample data that I've been showing you, but we do not have any limitations of the such. Any type of visual document can be stored in TIFF, JPEG, bitmap, PDF, as well as Excel documents, Word documents. We can view all those in, including even emails. One of the things I've done a lot is correspondence. Take an email, dump it right into Paperless, actually click and drag it in and save it, and now that's stored in for people to use. Some people are asking what's the difference between document management and paperless. It's going to be difficult to do in our time frame here. Again, email me, vincent.pate@sage.com, if you're a document management user looking to switch. I'll get you more information. So someone asked, does Sage 100 Contractor, and I'll also say Sage 300 has something rudimentary, but does Sage 100 Contractor have an invoice routing and approval system, or would Paperless be that piece? And I'm going to say, yeah, Sage Paperless would be that official piece. So Paperless would easily be able to take those invoices, route them around for approval, track who's got them, keep them stored in the system forever with an audit trail, who said what, where. We just don't have that in Sage 100 or 300 out of the box. So Paperless is that module that would take care of it. Someone asked, the AP Invoice Entry screen looks different from my back-end accounting system, 100 or 300. Is it use a different one? And the answer is yes, especially on the Sage 300 side. It's something that we wanted to make sure you had a much more modern interface. Looks more like a real invoice and things like that. So, yeah, this is the new place to enter all that information and have it go in there. Someone asks if this is linked to Sage Fixed Assets. It's not. We do link back to your equipment module within Sage 100 or 300. Theoretically, if you got your equipment module integrated in with fixed assets, we might be able to have some type of correlation there, but we don't integrate with fixed assets. We integrate with our equipment modules in the accounting systems themselves. So someone asks, if you receive a paper invoice in the mail, would you need to scan it in first to get it into Paperless? I think the real question behind the question is, do I have to scan it to my computer and then bring it into Paperless, or can I scan it directly from my scanner into Paperless? There's a little technical answer to that, and it's a thing called TWAIN compliance, T-W-A-I-N. If your scanner is TWAIN compliant, you can scan directly from your scanner into Paperless. If it's not, you just have to have the intermediary folder, which I think is where you're asking there. Someone else asked, can you export to Excel from Sage Paperless? I guess that it all depends on what you're needing specifically. We do have the ability, when I'm doing like a search to grab some documents, to export the information out into a report, and then from the report into Excel. Because we do use Crystal reporting for all of our report needs, Crystal has a very easy export to Excel option. If there's something specific, because I'm not sure if I can answer that appropriately on the website or the webcast here, if you are looking to do something very specific on that, please email me and I'll get you that answer there. I see one last question. I'm going to go ahead and answer this, and then I'll get that recording out to everyone. Are documents stored within Paperless, or does it just create a link within Paperless to somewhere else on the server? If the link is created, what happens when the document is moved? So on the technical side behind the scenes, we have everything stored in a secured location on your server, one document, one place in your server. It should be secured down to where people can't move those documents. So that question about if it gets moved, does it break? Well, it would break, but you shouldn't have anyone moving documents. It's going to be locked down, and we keep everything together with Microsoft SQL pointing to where everything should be located at. So more in answer for your IT person, make sure it's locked down. Don't just leave it wide open where people can fumble with the stuff behind the scenes.